Death Watch.
Hello, and welcome to this Death Watch Productions of A Prophecy of Dusk and Dawn, episode 20. Apologies. We are down a player today, so I will start with the person across from me. Introduce yourselves.
I am Travis. I'm playing Hadrius Alinius Ordius, and I'm still a dead man walking, I'm sure, even more so since we accidentally killed our plan for a safety net against the evil bankers of the world.
No, just in my defense, I had him pegged for death since the very beginning of the campaign, so it was bound to happen.
Right.
All right, Jono?
And I am John playing Jardine, a.k.a. Dane Glass, and I think we'll be all right. It was time for a new Lord to take place. Not the one I thought would, since he has also died, but maybe Lord Hadrius will take the reins.
What exactly is your line of succession to the
right
House
of
Lows?
conquest.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
We'll have to pose as lords from a far-off land.
Well, technically, you did kill the Lord, so
Sure, that does make me a lord, right?
yeah.
Right of conquest.
I'll make my case before the other lords.
It is my
Or
act.
just kill them too.
Now I'm the overlord.
That's the problem I always run into in I think is it Crusader Kings? I forget. Whatever one of those games I play is I'll have this plan of working one of my offspring into the crown, but it never works out that way because I never can kill enough heirs. It's always someone else. I got to keep killing and killing.
Competition, man.
Yep. Alrighty. Peter rushed down the hallway, sword in hand. From behind him came the sounds of feet, some of them even booted, slapping or thumping against the plush carpet. From up ahead, an eerie light shone from Duke Slow's room, and the shadows danced on the walls, were a match to the sounds of the clashing steel that echoed down the hallway. Fear streaked through the Lord, for the closer he drew toward the combat, the less real the world had begun to feel. It was like he was running in a dream. From up ahead, he saw the two combatants dance into view. One was the young Valexian lord, Landon, if he remembered correctly. His face streaked with sweat. Peter was shocked to see that it was his sword that gave off the eerie light. Normally, this devilry would have been enough for him to know who his enemy was, but not this night, for it was the other man that caused the hairs on the back of his neck to stand on end. As the clash continued, occasionally the room would plunge into shadow, and it was in these moments that Peter saw the man's eyes aglow with a malicious orange light from deep within, and only one word came to mind at the sight of this: demon. In a horrible display of speed, the man suddenly locked Landon's sword to one side, and quicker than Peter could track, drove his weapons into him. The way in which Landon slumped to the ground told Peter all he needed to know. He was dead. Immediately the room began to glow darker as the light from his swords began to quickly fade. By the time Peter and the others reached the doorway, the only thing that they could see in the room were those orange eyes staring back at them, daring them to make their move. Peter froze, his legs refusing to move. Then from beyond the antechamber came the aged voice of his lord. "What is that racket?" At the sound of his voice, those eyes vanished from sight. From where he stood, from where he and those who had followed him stood, all they heard was the I lost my place. There we go. The only sounds that they heard over the drumming of their own heartbeats was that of Duke Slow dying, and then a silence that seemed to stretch on forever. Peter didn't know how long he stood there, his sword forgotten at his side, but what he did know was that it was the anguished cry of Duncan the Younger that snapped him back to reality. There, before him, the grisly scene was once more on display, lit by swinging lanterns. Duke Slow had been opened up, groin to sternum, and tossed aside. Peter felt sick and his head swam, but the voice of Duncan the Younger, his lord now, that strengthened him, Duncan was given orders. Bring the army, lock the city down, and find the monster who did this. Peter barely had time to move aside as Duncan's men rushed back down the hallway to see their lord's orders carried out. With them gone, Duncan the Younger, now Duke Slow, turned towards Peter and spoke to them. Now you lot, tell me what it is you saw. And now, that brings us to the morning that we left off on, the 5th of New Summer. From outside your room, the mournful chiming of bells, I wrote chumming, thank you, touch keypad. Chiming of bells is punctuated by the sounds of a fist rapping on your door. Open up and present yourself for inspection by the city watch. In the name of Duke Slow, comes a gruff voice. And that's where we left off, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I'll take a look at Ollie if he's still sleeping off his drinking. See if he's in a state to wake up and present himself, and perhaps decide that he is not, and go answer the door after a glance at Dane to see if he's ready.
Okay.
I think we had already discussed that the best play was just to see what they want.
Is there anything you guys want to do before you open that door?
Yeah, he was concerned about a book.
Yeah, make sure that book is nice and tucked away.
All right.
But I don't think I have any contraband. If I did, I forgot about it.
Only contraband that I think I have.
Let me
shoot.
let me look
I
at
guess
my inventory.
the other is tucked away already, but we're gonna have to risk it.
Thank you, John. I had forgotten about that.
I did have the
I
strange
almost had
assassin
to.
disc at some point, but
This isn't gonna be good.
we did
Atkins.
make a flight in a hurry. I don't know if I kept it.
So where is your gun, and was it you had some gunpowder left over too, I believe?
Yeah, it's usually tucked away on my person.
Okay.
And that's where it would be. Is I carry it in one of the many folded pockets that I like to imagine that I have.
Yeah. I'm just making a note of what you got on you. Where's your disc that you took from the assassin?
I just always carry it in my hand
Oh.
like a weapon. Dagger in one, disc in the other.
He made it part of his hat.
Do you run like the characters from EverQuest where it's almost like they're goose stepping?
I don't. It's probably in my pack, something
Okay.
like that. I mean, I truthfully did just pick it up on the journey up here. I did not at all train to become an assassin.
Are you just woke up, right? Or you?
I think we'd been talking for a little bit.
Yeah,
Because the
I
bells
woke him
woke
up
us
if I
up, didn't it?
remember correctly.
At first light.
Because I had noticed
The bells.
the bells, and then the soldiers coming into the inn.
All right. What are you wearing, Hadrius?
Shirtless.
Is it that
in my
lacy thing
breeches.
that we bought you last week?
Well, I'm just wondering as to, because you have those rune stones in your cloak.
Oh, right.
And I was
do
just
have
wondering if
runes.
it's on your person or if the cloak is
didn't.
draped somewhere.
I didn't write them down. Yes, the rune stones. I do have those as well. It was probably, I would keep those in wherever my close personal possessions might be. Something I'd reach with my hand,
All right.
inside pocket or something to that effect.
So the disc is just in your bag.
Yep.
Thankfully, they don't know that the disc is one of the assassin's weapons because he didn't have a chance to throw it. There was a scenario I had planned out where that would have been happening as well. So, and then the runestones are also on your person.
Yeah. Or the cloak pocket, if you like that one.
All
That's
right.
something I could think where I'd, if I'm out traveling around, I could reach them.
Now, I'm also going to point out so that way it's not like a haha got you,
Got us.
that there are rune charms hanging about the room
Oh.
that Jardine put up because he was having
Yeah.
nightmares.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know well enough the theology to know when we're
Blasphemy.
heretics,
Yeah.
right?
They are of Luna,
Right.
and that isn't technically heretical, but it
Right.
also depends on the person
Yeah.
you're
like
getting, right?
a society might accept it from their hedge witch, but not from
Yeah, well,
like a higher social strata or something.
yeah. Well, like, does the person who's going to be looking at it know? Because, like, Loonites are kind of rare in
Yeah.
these lands. They're more prevalent the further east you go.
Well, they'll just have to accept our explanation that Dane here was traumatized on our journey
Okay.
north, and he reached out to pagan adjacent belief systems.
We abandoned our god and sought out
You don't know how
another.
bad it was. We're at the mercy of
People were
mercenaries,
dying
bandits.
every single day.
I couldn't tell if he loved me or he loved to want to kill me. Old, what's his name? I forget.
All right, so you open the door?
Yep.
All right. The second you do, there are several men armored that rush in, or not rush in, but walk in. A man is standing in the hallway beyond that. Square would be a apt descriptor of him. Square-jawed, square-shouldered, harsh. Without even needing to enter or exit your room into the hallway, you can hear other doors being knocked on and opened as well. So it's just not your room. They're not here for
Pinpointed.
you. And I believe that I stated last time that outside your window, you're seeing them going into other houses, including the one
Yeah.
next door.
It's a general search for an orange-eyed man.
So he gestures to you. Step out in the hallway. My men will toss your room.
Okay. I'll come out.
Behind you. Okay. Ollie is in bed. Now they're not, because they're just searching, they're not in full just drag you out and beat you up mode.
Yeah.
So he gets a couple quick jabs to the ribs from
Which doesn't even really count
yeah.
as force.
And he when he wakes up, they grab him by his arm and drag him out of bed and push him into the hallway. Can you give me a Constitution times 3?
Stamina times.
No, this would be Constitution, not stamina.
Well, that's I don't know how to roll.
Yeah, just
It just the next to it. It says stamina.
yeah, that's a stamina check. There are actual just characteristic rolls. So just 1d100 versus his stamina times 3. They weren't drinking hard spirits, but I've thrown up on wine.
We got a 32.
And what's his stamina times 3?
Gotta open them up. Stamina times 3 would be like 48.
Okay. So he's looking green around the gills as he's standing there. He's kind of wobbling. He has a serious case of bedhead, and his hair is wild and crazy. A couple days growth of beard going on, and shirtless. So
Be easy, Ollie. I don't think they're after you for your revelry last night.
Is the innkeep still in the hallway here?
did I say the innkeep was in the hallway?
Or was he in the hallway?
I think he answered the door down below.
Okay.
Or spoke to them when they entered the inn. So he's downstairs, I think is what I said. You can hear his voice. He's answering questions of his own. And he's just being an honest innkeep and telling everything that he knows, that, there have been several pilgrims and merchant that have come in from out of town. To you, actually, roll status for Jardine and Hadrius. Ollie is fine. He doesn't need to roll.
Status.
Success.
Also special.
So, the magistrate's eyes swing from Jardine to you, Hadrius.
Should be shirtless more often.
You have
the royal crest tattooed or branded onto your chest and back.
no, his supple flesh, hairless, is like that
It's
of
the
any
thin,
royal.
unmuscled body of a noble.
This is obviously my noble.
Looks like what's his name? Was it Christian Bale in The Mechanic? Or The Machinist?
Could it be that they have recognized us from the audience that we had
I mean, I did spend
with
the whole day
Duck
just
Slow?
chilling in a room.
The magistrate wouldn't. He might recognize you
Yeah.
from your brief visit to his his building where you went through various records, but I don't think you actually encountered him there, so he might have seen you in passing at best. If you want, I can roll, see if he has an idea where he's seen you from, if that is the case. Or you could also roll luck to see if he recognizes or has seen you, and then that would allow me to make that roll for him.
The more I roll, the more I fail. So
I got it.
I'll
Fail.
stick with my special.
All right, so yeah, he wouldn't recognize you, or even it wouldn't even come to his mind to attempt to recognize you. Anyway, to Hadrius, he says, "State your name and the reason for which you're here."
Yes, I'm Hadrius Ordius. I'm a merchant here to buy. And this is my apprentice, Dane. And this is my guardsman, Ollie.
How are you dressed, Jardine? Sorry.
I should be in the new clothes, not the super fancy clothes that upstage Hadrius.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right. I'm in my lesser clothes, so as not to upstage my boss. All right. And what exactly are you buying?
Copper mostly, charcoal, jewelry.
I take it you have your writs.
Yes, recently purchased. If you allow, I can fish them out for you.
Oh, he gives
So
the
I'll
nod.
go to where I might have kept them with the rest of my clothes or whatever, and get all the writs I had purchased.
Yeah, there's a guard or a guardsman that is holding the bag.
Okay.
If you
Well, I'll tell
ask-
him. If you reach in there, they should be near the top there.
All right.
Acquired just yesterday.
Yeah, he pulls out a bunch of paper. He looks at it with the obvious look of someone who is illiterate.
Right.
Looks like sorcery to me, boss.
Yeah, hands them over to you.
Yeah, as you'll see, I have a writ for copper, charcoal, and jewelry. I have my travel and my purchase and sales, and a mercenary writ as well, although I have not yet hired mercenaries.
All right, this looks to be in order. So, a man steps out into the hallway. All right, Hadrius, I want 2 luck rolls from you.
Okay. 1, 2.
All right. Jardine, you're good for now. They haven't searched you yet. All right, so this guard comes out. This guardsman, or several guardsmen, come back out. And Heffen is the magistrate's name. He asks for a report, and they say that there are several weapons inside. Ollie kind of, those are mine. To which they produce the chakram.
Right.
And they're like, and Ollie's like, oh, that's not mine. And they say that's suspicious. It has odd markings on it. That's the main suspicion, but also this make and model of weapon is odd.
Yeah. Well, I'll volunteer. Yes, we found it on the road up here, and I did recognize it to be from across the sea, because I have some understanding of their culture, and somebody in my business, it being curious, I thought perhaps the right buyer might be interested, so I kept it.
Persuade or difficult bargain.
I'll go with persuade. Success.
All right. Let's see. Then the charms are produced from the room. Found a lot of this hanging up, my lord.
Ah. Those are the ones Dane put up, right?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Those are what did she say those were?
I know what they
are protection.
Yeah, I know what they are. I recognize Lunite charms when I see them.
So I'll just bow my head deeply.
It's odd, though.
Well, we had a rough journey up here, sir, and near to our arrival here, we took shelter during a storm with a hedge witch, and she impressed upon my young apprentice the value of these charms, and I don't know if because the road was so rough he took it to heart, and I didn't see any real harm in it, sir. If it allowed him to sleep better, then it allowed me to sleep better.
Well, there's no better sleep than when one thinks and prays to Solar solely, but it is not against the law, though it is not our ways. But
Understood.
then again, you're from Marasaurus. You're an odd lot down south.
Indeed.
Alrighty. He is about to ask another question when you hear the door to the inn. Well, you hear sudden thumping of boots downstairs, and they're coming up the stairs to this level. And a guardsman whispers into Heffen's ear. You guys can roll listens if you want.
Sure.
Fail.
Nope.
All right. Do you want to use power to lower that, Dane? What is that? That'd be
yeah, 5 or 4.
2, 4.
Yeah, 2 points, right?
Yeah, it'd be 2 points of power to make it a success.
Okay, as I'll do that.
Alrighty. So you hear the guardsman whisper, "My lord, several bodies have been found in the house next over, or in the next house over, dead only a couple days, unless Patrick is wrong in his guess. They've been carved up with some unknown symbols."
Oh, no.
Heffen's face doesn't reveal any emotion to what he's just heard. Instead, he turns to his men and orders them to continue the search. But he turns to a handful and of his higher ranked ones, and he orders them to take everyone within about a block radius in for further questioning. To which he turns to you and says, "And that includes you."
Of course.
Get dressed. I apologize for any inconveniences.
Not at all, good sir. We will be ready momentarily, and I'll go about getting ready.
All right.
Instruct Ollie to wash his face. Scrub your teeth.
Get your hair under control. All right, so they allow you a moment to dress, and then you and 2 guardsmen begin your march off. Looks like they're taking everyone in for questioning or arrest towards the castrum currently. Gather them all in one place. Upon entering the grounds, the guardsman takes you to a nearby guardhouse and orders a search of your persons. Now, Hadrius, because of what is on your persons, which you, unless you wanted to take the risk, didn't have the time to deposit anywhere else. That goes for you too, Jardine. If you want, you can try. It would have been a sleight of hand to try to secret your gun and gunpowder into an area that the guards hadn't already searched in your room. So unless you decided not to take that risk, you would still have it on your person. But Hadrius, you're feeling something akin to when you were looking into that Fate Spinner's web, right?
Foreboding.
There you go. I wrote this up last night, so there might be some stuff that needs to get changed or some corrections that need to be made to it. But for the most part, what this does is you use a PowerPoint against any known role that that's within your line of sight. Once per role, and you can add your power as a penalty or a bonus to that role. And you're feeling that there are about to be some swings of fate or chance that are about to happen that could result in your arrest.
Yeah. Well, I guess the only thing that's concerning me is if Dane is trying to secret his gun and his powder away somewhere. Because I'm not actually too concerned about, say, like my rune stones, just because of my own ignorance. And a good merchant relies on his ignorance for the gray areas of trading and whatnot.
Yeah. But yeah, you're feeling that feeling of impending trouble.
Okay.
And so if you As long as you're aware of the roll that is about to be made, you can affect it before the roll goes through.
Okay.
And you can do that to anyone except yourself.
Okay.
So the guardsman's going to make a search of your person.
Yeah.
If you want to try to hide anything on your persons, it is a sleight of hand roll versus their spot.
In my particular case, I will say there's nothing I want to hide. Yes, I think nothing I want to hide.
Okay.
So, not that I could nudge myself, right? So,
Yeah. And that tracks because you couldn't find your own thread
right.
either. Are you there, John?
Could I make a case to use luck instead of sleight of hand? Because maybe it's just concealed enough that they had missed it.
It would be a difficult luck roll.
But I will definitely
I think either one is going to be pretty difficult.
aid, nudge, Dane.
All right, you can do this for each of the rolls that he's going to make or for any roll that he makes, as well as the guard. Now, that does change in combat. You can
Right.
use it once a turn then.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have any questions on
Cool.
that, the wording in there.
Try it.
I think
Okay.
I got it. So I could aid, nudge, Dane, and then I could hinder, nudge the guard,
Mm-hmm.
basically. So yeah, I guess I'll give us the best possible outcome, which would be 2 power points, right?
Yeah. All right, Jardine. Oh, and
And you need my power rolls first.
let me see here what I got. I need your skill in the nudge, and then that will go into the POW check.
Okay.
So your base skill is your power times 5.
Right. So 55.
And put that in, down in your power section. It's a power, not a spell. There's a difference in how they work and how they're made.
What is the power section by?
Is it not open in your...
It may not be open in mine. I'm not. But then again, I could be blanking it.
All right, up in the top left-hand corner, there's a little symbol. If you click on that, there should be several check boxes that open up.
Okay. So show fatigue points.
And then it's like...
Magic powers.
Yeah. And then I'll name them appropriately, but for now, just pick one of the boxes and start making the power.
Okay. So nudge. Skills 55. Range. Line of sight. Duration is 1 roll.
Mm-hmm. Or just one.
Cost is 1 power point. Okay. All right. Here's the first one, critical,
All right.
Nice.
Doesn't cost you anything for that one.
and failure on the second one.
All right. So this is his first roll and the guard's first roll.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that first one doesn't cost you any power points, so you get that one refunded. All right, Jardine, when you make your luck roll, your luck is considered 11 points higher.
So, do I just change my power and add 11 to it?
No, just roll your luck and then we'll add 11 to it. Okay. That would be a success.
Okay.
All right. Now you got a second one.
Is this going off of the same roll that Hadrius had just made?
No. Unless he wants to use the power again.
Yeah, I'll use it for
Alright.
the.
Go for it.
Okay, let me deduct another power point. Let's nudge again. You need one for the guard as well on this.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Dang it.
All right. Make your normal luck roll. Difficult luck roll, Jardine.
Success.
All right. All right. So, unknown to you, the reason, Hadrius, Jardine next to you, sweating bullets, breathes a sigh of relief as the guard pats him down and doesn't seem to find anything. They pat you down, and they find the 2 rune stones. So let's get a religion check on him.
I suppose you would believe that those curiosities were given to me by Luna herself, would you?
All right, so he recognizes the runestone of Luna. Okay, and he doesn't recognize the Maw. That's a good thing
Right.
in this instance. You don't want him to recognize that. Jardine, can you roll spot for me? Because right now you guys are kind of just in there. All right, so you don't recognize the symbol. You can't quite see it, but one of the rune stones does glow when you look its direction. A kind of a sickly orange that leaves an after image when you blink. But it quickly disappears into.
Interesting.
But it quickly disappears into a bag along with any of the other evidence not evidence, but belongings that might have been found. Like if you had daggers on you, they would have taken those and all that stuff. You were not arrested, so we can close that. So from there, the guardman asks you to follow him, and he guides you into the castrum. Unlike your previous visits, this time you are led down into the undercroft. As you venture further downward, a chill begins to permeate the air, causing your breath to mist. You are beginning to feel like there's a weight pressing down on you, Hadrius. You do feel like something is watching you. Jardine, this feels pretty par for course for you. You've spent most of your life in the undercrofts of castrums, working on various things in the castrum soul. And you are aware that most likely you are currently under the Muros outside. And that's where the chill is coming from. It's absorbing the cold from the water and amplifying it inside. So past those, you went down a set of winding, spiraled stairs, and past the stairs, the guardsman leads you into under an archway and into a wide open area with many doors and hallways branching off from it. Here, there are about 10 guardsmen sitting about playing dice against one wall or talking at tables. He then leads you over to a door, peeks his head in, and finding it empty, opens the door and gestures you in. The room is plain, its walls free of tapestries and adornments like in the waiting rooms up top, with a simple table sat in the middle and several chairs around it. Before he leaves, he lights a candle, and almost immediately you feel that candle begin to warm up the room, but it's not quite enough to make it. You figure that your breath will stop misting, but it's not enough to be actual warmth.
Right.
Before he leaves, he turns and says to you, "Someone will speak with you as soon as possible. But given the number of people that the magistrate has called in for questioning, I suspect that Luna will be well up in the skies before we have men to spare. So sit tight. Food will be brought to you shortly."
Thank you.
He closes the door, and you hear his booted feet walking away. You hear some of the guardsmen down there greet him, and he greets them back. Is there anything you guys want to immediately do?
Is it just the three of us, or are we in here with a group of people? Or
Just
are we
you.
all separate?
Just you guys, just
Okay.
the three of you. You're not suspected of any
Right.
wrongdoing.
Well,
I'll whisper to Hadrius that I don't know how they didn't find it, but if they search me again, I don't think we're gonna get out of here.
well, hopefully they won't search you again. So far, we've done okay, I think. I didn't really expect to be in this predicament to begin with, but I should have expected so. But what can be done about it, Dane?
Well, we can blast our way out.
So I started blasting.
Somehow I think that'll make our situation worse. We're just going to have to hope to luck. Although I don't imagine they would think to do that again. But I guess we'll see where it goes. Just try not to spin your musket around.
Since we our plans for the day are a bit of a moot point, I will go back to sleep.
Okay. Well, you never went to sleep. You've been awake.
Well, that's what I like them to think.
You were reading your book all night.
I can read while I rest.
Did my
It's a superpower.
playing cards get
mages
confiscated?
everywhere.
No.
Right. Well, when he goes to settle down, I'll see if Ollie is up for a game.
Alrighty. So yeah, Ollie's. Yeah. Maybe a couple, boss. I'm not too sure how much longer I'm going to stay.
Well, perhaps you should rest too, Ollie. You put in a long night's work.
I would, but it's so bloody cold.
It is. The other arrangements are not much better. They lie in the opposite direction, although the food is well furnished,
Nah.
well supplied. But I'll be like, yeah, perhaps you should sleep, Ollie, or rest or whatever. Stay warm, jog in place, and I'll just take my cards out and maybe there's some sort of solo thing I can do with them. Some version of solitaire or whatever.
Yeah, always some version of solitaire, right? So the hours pass. You are brought food at one point. It appears to be a soup, some sort of fish soup with some bread. It seems to be better fare than what you suspect you would be getting if you were prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he doesn't try to wake anyone up. So if Ollie and Jardine are sleeping, he lets them remain sleeping, and he just places the bowls on the table. Can you get me a Constitution ×2 to stay awake, Hadrius? How can we do that? Is it
Failed.
Okay, yeah. But that should have worked. I guess I put greater. All right, so as you're sitting there playing your solitaire, you feel your chin beginning to kind of hit your chest. You're nodding off pretty good, and hours have gone by. And you have no real way to determine how much time is actually passing. It's just so boring.
Right.
In there. Occasionally from outside the door, you'll get some sort of bit of a new event, but it just sounds like it's more people being brought in. Off in the distance, at one point, you do hear someone shouting something about how he didn't know wasn't him,
Right.
and he's escorted to a different part of the castrum Undercroft. But eventually, you do find yourself falling asleep. And almost as soon as your chin touches your chest, you find yourself standing in that room. There's no light, and your companions are missing. There does seem to be a light coming, a soft glow that seems to be emanating from yourself, however, and that's what lights the room.
Uh-oh, here we go. Dane's the crazy one.
You still do feel those eyes watching you, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll look around. I guess I'm a little less startled than I perhaps might have once been. And I'll just look at everything in the room again. I guess if nothing jumps out at me, just out of curiosity, I'll try the door.
All right. Yeah, so this light of yours doesn't quite extend enough to even touch the sides of the room. And the room itself isn't that big, you imagine it wouldn't need to be big. Think like a small office. So as you approach the door and your light begins to illuminate it, it opens with a creak and swings inward. No one's on the other side. You stare out into blackness, essentially.
Okay. I'll try to use my recollection of like coming down here.
Mm-hmm.
Just to sort of slowly, hesitantly make my way back in that direction, looking for something of interest.
All right. So you step out into that big open room, which, other than your small pool of light, is completely dark. You know that the archway that would lead to the stairwell might be somewhere off to your right, but you do see a faint glow in a hallway off to your left of some light. It's familiar, this light, this faint glow.
Okay, I'll go towards it.
All right. As you walk towards it, it always seems to kind of keep ahead of you. You can't quite see where it's coming from, but it does seem to be leading you with purpose towards a direction. And finally, as you round a corner, the light passes or seems to pass under or through a door, and now the door is lit from behind with that faint glow.
Okay. Does it open automatically as I approach again?
Already getting spoiled, huh?
Yes, I guess the blue blood is in my veins.
No,
Okay. Well, I'll try it. Disappointed that it didn't open.
All right. Yeah, it opens freely. On the other side of the door is a storage room of sorts. Statues of Solar faintly lit. The glow in the room isn't just coming from you now. So there is a woman standing next to one of several tables that have been lined up. Two of the tables have sheets over them.
Oh, yeah, I suppose Luna does have cause to be upset with me now. Well, yeah, I'll think that in my head, and then I'll approach her hesitantly. And you said there were figures underneath cloth, like kind of like a morgue sort of?
Yeah, you figure
Cold
that,
storage.
the cold storage until a funeral can be arranged.
2 figures, though, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'll idly wonder which figures are hidden beneath, because I had anticipated Duncan the Elder, but I wouldn't know who the second one would be.
So as you near that, you see that she's kind of bent over or like leaning over one of the one table, and she has drawn the sheet back slightly, and she's kind of has her hand against the face of the pallid face of a young lord that you met yesterday, who you would recognize as Landon, and she's just kind of like running her thumb along his cheekbone, as she's kind of caressing his face, just kind of looking down at him.
Ah, that's a tragedy. What happened to him?
I should also make note that this Luna is not the lithe, nude young woman that you've encountered before. This one is, you can still see her face, but she is dressed in veil and has mourning clothes. And there, you might not keep track of everything, but you do know that there are some folklore that associate her with graves of fallen soldiers and giving comfort to widows and such.
Is his death or cause of death apparent by what I can see?
No, the sheet hasn't been pulled back all the way. You just see his face and part of a shoulder. So you said a tragedy?
Well, no, I'll be like, does this represent what has actually occurred? That this young lord, was he killed?
Yes, he very much lies on this slab in the waking.
Yeah, I guess I will sigh, like legitimately sad, but it might be just more sad that he was part of our current working scheme to get out from under the thumb of, what was the Prospero house? Like they're, I guess, to get some protection, maybe not out from under the thumb, but get some protection, something to hedge them coming after us for my duplicitous dealings with them.
Oh, the counting house?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, you threw me off because I think it's like oh man, I got it listed somewhere. But yeah, it's like,
because he seemed pretty distraught about our dealings yesterday.
Okay.
The fella.
So Luna looks up at you, and she doesn't stop her caressing of Landon's face, and she's like, "Worry not about this one. He is my champion, and the Bridge of Souls has been closed to him. I am not here for him. I'm here for the other one, and I will soon take him."
Who's the other? Duncan the Elder?
That is correct. I believe
so.
you know that.
Yes. It was an accident.
I fault you not. You are new to such things, and accidents do occur.
You're telling me, Luna. Yeah. But I actually will feel bad about it. I was like, I don't know how to control it, really, whatever it may be.
It's to be expected. Long have these, and she kind of looks at the surrounding walls of the castrum. Long have these bound and hindered your growth. And she's not referring to you. She's referring to the population.
Right.
And some things have become forgotten, and others have atrophied. But that will unfortunately have to change soon.
I guess. Certainly there are those better suited to such a thing.
I mean, I could obviously say I can use this for profit, though.
Yeah. Yes, I do see its use. But do you know why would I, if people are closed off to this, why would I not also be? I don't see what path I've walked that would make me any different than the common man. I'm but a humble trader after all.
You are a humble trader who has been noticed by a goddess and has received her blessing. Which we forgot to put down because you didn't have your power section open up. But yes, you did receive her blessing back in the grove.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think I remember telling you that. I think I just kind of did it in passing, though, where it's like, oh, you just like Landon, you got her blessing. So we'll have to correct that before we're done here today.
Okay, I get that, and there's a part of me that would expect nothing less, but I've often found that part of me to be somewhat of a fool, although useful when you're up against the odds. But
actually, I'm gonna have to halt you there.
Sure.
And you have received my blessing, is what she says. But it is also that there are people at work who have weakened the locks that my son, my righteous son, had put in place. And so now I am able to interact with the world, and through that, through you, and my works will be once more known. But others can now also touch the face of Terra.
Others?
The abyss, of course, Hadrius. And that is why I must now task you.
Okay.
Somewhere in these lands, an unknown force now work to undo the great works of my son. Unfortunately, they have been able to make contact with the abyss, and now, oh man, I just looked up this word, Ublager, I think is how it's pronounced. The person that they're contracted to is, I think it is Ublager. There we go. Attempts to slow my every action. That is why you must go and seek them out for me. Find their earthly their contractor here on Terra, and undo their work before it's too late. This man, and she again caresses Landon's face to indicate it, he is my champion, much like yourself. He carries my blessing, and I'm sure he will protect you. But, I'm sorry.
No, I'll just be like, I don't think that's happening. He's dead there. And if that's your champion, who I can understand, I don't know that I can do what he did.
She kind of smiles, and he will awaken soon. As I stated, the Bridge of Souls is barred to him. Death cannot have him, for the most part. It can only slow him down.
Okay. Well, how am I to find that person? I wouldn't even know quite where to begin, I don't think.
I cannot say. I do feel that their forces are stronger to the west.
Okay. Well, direction's better than nothing.
Southwest.
Right.
And it would make sense for them to be located somewhere in that den of a city.
This is back at Damas Solus.
Mm-hmm.
Be southwest, yeah.
But I do not know whom.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem. We just came from there, and it wasn't too great getting out. I don't imagine situations have improved much, but I suppose you don't have any clear idea on how we would do that either.
All I know is that there would be no better place for a ritual to be enacted, especially given some of the demon lord's proclivities, than at the site of what is about to become a mass grave for countless soldiers and citizens.
I see. So, is there something you know about me that I don't know about myself that you picked me for such a task? Because this is where I enter the bargain phase of such things, and I don't know if anybody has yet tried to bargain with a god. I'm sure there are stories. I'm sure I remember some stories, but I think the cautionary tale was don't bargain with deities. So maybe I'll belay that.
I believe that the appropriate one was deities or dragons.
Right. Perhaps we can hold off on the bargaining, and I can operate under the assumption that there would be some earthly reward in it for this humble merchant.
I believe
Starting to sweat a little bit. I can't do it. You don't understand, lady. I'm a junkie when it comes to this. I can't help it.
I believe that the earthly rewards for you, Hadrius Elenius Ordius, would be that what you are able to take from it. Power has been given unto you, power over men, over fate and chance, whom you may now beseech.
That is true. So it is a debt that I'm repaying. I understand. Been here many times before. Not my favorite place to be.
Your words, not my words. But if that's how you feel.
All right. I will make my level best attempt to do this, but I don't know on what time scale I can achieve it. Man has to eat and sleep and more than just a bush on the side of the road, after all, But I'll try. You have my word on that.
And that is all that I ask.
People up on the porch for a sec.
Yeah.
They're gone now.
Okay.
So, can you see the future or anything? How's this going to turn out for us, our immediate circumstance?
The future's not my purview, Hadrius. And even if I could, the abyss clouds it. As I stated, I cannot view as much of Terra as I once could, and must now act through earthly vessels and champions such as yourselves.
I see. Well, forgive me. I was given a small education on these matters, but I'm afraid my interest lied elsewhere.
When you awaken, there will be aid coming to you to see you free from the castrum with Landon in tow. He will be weak when he awakens, and he will need your help, but you will find that he quickly returns to full health.
Okay. I look forward to seeing that.
Then she just says, awaken.
Okay.
And you are awakened. You find yourself in the room. Cold soup in 2 bowls, chilling or congealing, depending on it's a fish. Yeah, we'll say congealing, has that scum across the top.
Yeah.
And we'll head over to Jardane. Alrighty. So, as Hadrius dreams, so does Jardane. And Jardane, you once more find yourself inside the twisting hallways of Castrum's soul. From all around you seems to come the voice of Alexander. Such a pity that the man who could possibly protect you from my might has perished. The boy king's voice seems to come at you from all directions, but you hear the clack of booted feet drawing nearer to you.
I will, does any of it look familiar? Or I'm sorry, you said soulless, right? Not low?
Yeah, Castrum's soul.
Oh, okay. And I'll,
so yeah.
As many dreams do, I will repeat the same errors as last time.
Okay.
Trying to rush to my escape route.
All right, so this is not the actual layout of Castrum's soul. It's changed. You have hallways that go nowhere. You have stairs that lead to nowhere.
Is this because you're a Ma worshiper?
He's not a Ma worshiper.
Not, though. I just know about it.
Not yet.
All right, then if it's different pathing through here, I will I will call out as Alexander, I will run no more. And I'll start walking through the hallways, calling him out to
All right. So you round a corner and you find yourself face to face with the Boy King. He's just standing there, and he's dressed in fine royal regalia, but he still carries the scale, and the sword that I spoke about in your previous dreams, where he appeared, and I believe the crown was a flaming crown. I can't quite remember.
As for too long, I have run from you.
All right, give me a POW ×2 versus a POW 18 resistance check. Hadrius, you are actually aware of this roll.
Oh, really? Yeah, I'll nudge him. I like helping Dane. He's a very
So
grateful
my power
person.
×2 versus an 18.
Your power
let me nudge
×2 plus a potential 11. We'll see.
Okay. Nudge, nudge. Success.
All right. So yeah, times your power ×2 and then add 11. Now I wonder if at some point I should put in that your nudge comes after all modifiers. That way we don't try to start getting rule lawyered where it's before the ×2.
Right. That would make it more impactful.
And then I'm versing an 18, right?
Mm-hmm. All right.
Success.
No, John. POW. Just your POW. This is resistance. Okay. No, I see. Okay. Nope, you're good. Okay. Sorry. I was misunderstanding something. All right. So you don't get a check next to your POW for that one because it was easy. But your sudden appearance in front of him kind of threw him off his guard. He wasn't expecting you. And you feel something inside of yourself, like behind your eyes, kind of loosen. And it's been trying to give way for some time. You felt it before in the past, but you couldn't quite do it then either. And you're still not quite able to achieve it now. But you feel yourself reach out, and through sheer force of will, you push back against the thing that is Alexander, Dream Alexander, and you're rewarded by seeing him begin to melt away from before your eyes. Unfortunately, your victory is short-lived, as in his place now stands a human-shaped thing. Seemingly nude, the flesh from its upper torso has been flayed and now hangs down around about its legs like a horrifying skirt or a kilt. The thing's muscles, visible to you, ooze pus, and carrion insects crawl and burrow about, feasting as they go. You can give me a demonology easy. You can also nudge if you want. No, the roll was made.
Yeah.
Die is gas.
Sorry. It didn't let me choose I think I messed up and didn't add the modifier.
It'd be ×2.
Yeah, those ones you have to do it before the roll.
So 28 versus 29. You can spend POW.
All right, I'll do that.
Alrighty. Where its face should be is instead a sheet of flesh, upon which is carved festering maggot-infested symbol of Tyrol, Lord of Open Graves, which you recognize from your book.
As I'm being hunted by Tyrol.
Well, you're being hunted by something, and you get the impression that this has always been the Alexander that you've spotted in Dream, right?
So, did I learn anything from the book about trying to not necessarily banish, but I'm trying to think of what the word I'm thinking of. Ward off. Because I don't think I'm strong enough I would be strong enough to try and banish it or anything. But maybe I could just ward myself from it, is what I'm thinking.
Well, you know that there's a difference. You're in a dream, and so what you can do in a dream differs greatly from what you can do in reality. So you could just do something that you think will ward you from him in the dream, but it might not work in reality in the waking world.
Yeah, I will. So when I draw a ward onto something to make it more powerful, like the blast of gunpowder or something, right? That's what I'll think of, but I'll think of it as a reverse, and I'll tell him that I am taking, as I will rob him of his power, and I'll reverse that, like reach out and draw it in his flesh or blood, whatever is most readily available.
All right, Jono. Give me a difficult alchemy roll, if you wish, Travis.
What would that be, a *2?
Yeah, let's burn
A
these
difficult
PowerPoints.
alchemy roll is divided by 2. It's half.
Hold on, wait for the nudge. I feel like I should hotkey this macro bar.
Hadrius is going to wake up feeling more tired than when he went to sleep.
What? It's not dragging down? What's going on? Failure.
All right.
Mm.
All right. So as you reach out, he grabs your arm in a vice-like grip, and he's kind of staring down at you. He tilts his head, and you feel his eyes on you through whatever macabre mask it is that he seems to be wearing. And in a voice that is all too human, you hear him say, would seem that there's more to you than your peers. Its voice is deep, and it kind of fills the hallway. Perhaps I was wrong to send you to that fool Low. And he kind of pushes you back and away.
I'll try to prevent stumbling and falling. Try and catch myself on the side of on the wall. And so you're the one behind all this, as you've usurped the rightful ruler. As I will not let you win this. And I'll come at him again and try it again.
All right.
Go for it. It's my new shiny power. All right. Nudge, nudge, nudge. Nope.
Oh, you have succeeded at nudging, so remember that you can roll versus your nudge to try to raise it. All right, you failed again.
Could I use some power points there?
No, you can't use power points on physical stuff. You use fatigue, and that's at a 1-to-1.
So you need 11 fatigue.
Where is that?
It's underneath power points. FTG dot points.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll do it.
All right. So you have a success. Let's see. Where's this thing's parry? All right. So it as you walk near it, it kind of bats your hand to the side. And the force with which it does it kind of spins you around. And it continues talking at you while you are kind of righting yourself. And it laughs. I've usurped no power. I care not for it. My Lord requires bodies, and that is what I plan, or what I aim to give him, a mountain of corpses. And if you keep being so insolent, I'll add yours to the top of the pile, boy.
Why have you not done so already? What is it that you want of me?
I've already gotten what I wish from you. You sowed more chaos than you could possibly imagine as you traveled throughout the land. Alexander's assassins after you, and look what it has brought. More chaos to House Low. If I had been far more than I had hoped, but not enough, I had hoped that Velix, that mad dog Velix, would have already launched an attack to get his son back. But there's still time. There's still hope. But, there is the little matter that I could perhaps use you yet again. And he begins to walk towards you now.
Oof.
Now, you do get the sense that you could potentially force yourself awake. You feel trapped in here. He's holding you. You know that somehow. But if you succeed at a POW versus POW check, you could potentially force yourself awake.
Okay. I'll try that.
All right, so it's your POW, your normal POW versus his. If Hadrius wishes.
Point, let me think. When I go to 0 POW, though, I drop unconscious for a while.
For an hour, I believe.
Okay.
So it's just more sleep for you.
Might as well. What the heck? Can I start using hit points?
Not while you're asleep. If it was like, say, 2 and you had 1 left over, you would use 1 hit point.
Success.
All right. So add 11 to your POW.
Okay. Is this on the resistance thing?
Yeah.
Or no? Okay.
If you succeed, you will get a check to your POW as well.
What am I versing?
18.
Ah, man. That has failed.
Yeah. I'm just writing down what happened here. All right. Make another POW check. This time, put the 18 in the left-hand slot. If it succeeds, it's him. Right, like, I guess we could do it the same way that you've been doing it. It would just be that you failed. Yeah, we'll do that. Your POW versus 18. All right. So he raises his hand in kind of a, it kind of has like a claw shape to it, and you feel something begin to root around in you. It's not in your physical body; it's in something beyond that, and it begins to hurt. You take 3 points of damage just from your pool of hit points, not from any particular area. And you feel him grab something in your soul, is the best you can figure. And he makes a pulling motion, and from out of your chest area, you see a glowing orange symbol that you recognize as the Maw get yanked out from within you. It's small, glowing, and he squeezes his hand into a fist, and that symbol pops into a small kind of prism of color. Now you don't have to worry about that assassin anymore, boy. And with that, you begin to fall backwards, and his voice is getting distant, and you awaken with a start.
What does it feel like, though? Like, do I feel like I've lost something?
You feel ever so slightly like a set of eyes you've slipped unnoticed, or have become unnoticed now to a set of eyes. If you want, you can roll an idea for me.
Success.
All right. You feel that this is how the assassin, or the cultist, whichever you want to call him, tracked you. That he'd somehow marked a part of you.
How does this help him, though? 'Cause that's what I'll be saying to myself.
With that idea roll, I can help you out if you want. I won't give you the whole picture, of course, but he stated that your purpose essentially was to have that assassin string along and cause chaos, and hopefully lead to House Lowe and House Velix fighting after the initial assassination, which did occur. Now that that's been carried out, it would seem that he doesn't want the assassin going after you as easily now. Would be what you're figuring, or your best bet.
Possibly either turning to another target, or now having to actually try and track again.
Mm-hmm. Next to you, Hadrius is waking up. It has been an hour. You have one PowerPoint. There are deep bags under his eyes.
I'll become the fainting mage, always riding at one PowerPoint.
As I'll be keeping to myself a bit. It's just replay as much of the dream as possible.
So I was able to interfere with those rolls. What sense did I have that he was going through something?
So while you were speaking to Luna, it was something that was just in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
And it was almost like a yes, no, you acquiesced to its query, essentially, and you just it didn't really take up much of your thought.
Okay.
Right? You could have denied it if you wanted. But you feel that that's because wherever your soul had traveled, that it also wasn't based off of where you were. It was based off of where your corporeal form was.
Well, Dane, do you have a good rest?
Just give you a haunted look. I don't think I've ever been more disturbed during a sleep than the one that I just had.
Yeah,
But
me too. Appears I have a debt I must pay, and we shall have to alter our plans when we get out of here. But don't fear, Dane, I have reason to believe that we will, in fact, get out of here, and we can let tomorrow's problems be tomorrow's problems.
I don't think there's any outrunning our current problem.
What is your current problem?
As I will whisper one word, and that is Toral.
I mean, you can roll a religion. It'd be extreme Hadrius. So like 1/5, I believe, is the actual correct extreme usage. Or does it just become critical?
Failure.
All right. Yeah, the name Tyrol does not ring any bells.
Well, I've never heard of him.
But that said, Mars Oris does have Aryan Wynn as she's not worshipped at all, right? It was meant to be more of a warning about the hubris and brashness of young men who duel, right?
Yeah.
But it didn't become that. Instead, she became more of an icon. So it does sound like a name that you would associate with various demonic entities, but who knows, right? You know, it could also just be that it is just an unfortunate name that sounds similar.
Well, try to put it out of your mind, Dane. We're well aware that we're on borrowed time when we set out on this venture. So, but for now, we're safe in a semi-dungeon underneath the castrum.
Remember, you feel eyes on you,
Safe
Hadrius.
from assassins.
Yeah,
for now.
Maybe my voice falters unsafe. I cast about the room, but just try to school your features, though, if you could, Dane. I don't think it will do for you to have that look when we're being questioned.
I'll get up, splash some soup on my face, and be ready for the day. Now, I will ask, though,
There is a pitcher of water.
Do you think they'll bring us some food soon? And
It's right here. I debated waking you, but I figured you needed the sleep. And fish soup doesn't get that much worse when it cools down.
That's fish jelly now.
Right. Just changes consistency.
Just hold it over the candle,
Right.
which is starting to get fairly low. You figure
Maybe some water.
You figure, based on it was a fresh candle when it was lit, and Hadrius, based on your mercantile skills and spermacea wax made candles, that you're probably looking at about dusk right now.
Okay.
And we are going to bring it to a close here with this final scene in which, as you're sitting around talking, Ollie snoring slightly, you trying to shovel fish jelly into your mouth, Jardine, you hear the latch on the door spring open, and with a very familiar creak, Hadrius, it swings inward.
Okay.
And that's where we'll end for this week.
Well, thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Roll against your skills. If you have a power check, roll against your power as well. Yeah, you'd roll versus your luck in that case. If you get an
This has been a Death Watch production. Thank you for listening.